guys, I'm Ryan Houston and welcome to my fly tying channel. The channel contains hundreds of different videos catering from beginners right through to the more advanced tyers and covering flies and patterns from all around the world. If you like what you see, stick around until the end of the video where generally you'll find the pattern description, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. Let's get on with the show.
Hi guys, so what we're going to tie is a temple dog type fly but on a double. This is a mustard bronze double. This is actually a size 1, and we're going to tie a Mikkeli blue, or a variation of a Mikkeli blue. So I'm going to use this Vivus 12-0 black as my thread. Now this double, as you can see, has a sort of a channel in it, so whenever we go to tie things in, you might find that things that are tied centrally may tend to pull out from underneath it. So what you need to do is just either tie in on the side or double things back or glue them as you tie them in to just make sure that they're more secure. So we're going to use fine oval silver as the tip on this fly. I'll tie that in. Coming back to about the points here, and what I'm going to do is go backwards for 3 to 5 turns and then tie it in across the top. Again, just so that it doesn't pull out, I'm tying it in for a decent distance along it. The other bit of the tag I want to do is going to be a pearl section to it, so any sort of pearl tinsel. I find that crystal hair actually works quite well for it. So what I do is I take a strand, double it over and allow it to slide down, take it back to the point where I want to start it, and then I go backwards. Because now I have 2 strands, it covers the ground fairly well. So I take it back till I meet my silver tinsel tip and then come forward and tie it in. So for the tail I want to use an orange fluoro fibre or fluo fibre, whatever it's called. So what I'm going to do is take a bunch that's kind of half the thickness of the tail that I want and twice the length of the tail that I want. And then I just misalign the tips very slightly by pulling them apart. And then the blunter end of it is the bit I'm going to use for underneath, and what I'm going to do is tie that in about 1/3 of the way along it, tie it back, and then this bit then should be longer, so whenever we fold that back over the top of it, then it should give us this taper. Double up the thickness of it and take it back. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hold it under tension, and I'm going to take my scissors and sort of go back, cutting a sort of fibre or so at a time till I get a tapered tail. So length up to yourself, depends whether you want a little short stumpy tail or whether you want something to sort of fit in with the wing. So we're going to put a little butt on this, and what we're going to use is a black peacock spectra dubbin from Hens. So you just need a little tiny blob of that, and it is doing the job that an ostrich butt would do, but it's more secure. It's going to last longer than ostrich would. We then take our silver tinsel again and we'll tie that back in. That's going to be the rib of our fly, and set it back into my material keep there. And the rear portion of the fly we're going to use some sort of a silver braid, so use holographic flat braid if you want. If you don't have it, just use silver tinsel. You could use silver dubbin. I'm going to use a round profile sort of braid. This is the one that I use to tie my sunrise specials with. And I want to do about 1/3 to 1/2 of the body in that, and then tie it off. And then we want to dub the front part of the body with a Mikkeli blue sort of mix. So this is a synthetic mix. and it's a mixture of like navy blues, royal blues and purple. So we create a section about the same length as the silver, but then we still have plenty of room here to tie on the front. So then we want to palmer a hackle down that Mikkeli blue section. So I'm going to take a black hackle here. And put on one turn at the front, and then take that down the body in about 3 turns. So then I want to take my silver rib and come along the silver portion. Once I get across the silver portion, I then want to catch in my hackle just as I hit the dubbing section, and then take a further 2 or 3 turns through the hackle and the dubbing to secure that off. Trim the hackle, trim my rib, and just make sure all's tied in. So now we're getting into the tying of the wing. So what I want to do is support the main wing, and what I'm going to do for that, so you want a slightly stiffer fur. What I'm going to use for that is black bear. You could use polar bear dyed black, you could use possum, you can use whatever you want, but this stuff is it's just that little bit more support. It's not quite as stiff as bucktail, and I'm going to tie that in to about the length of my tail. So what I'm going to do is once I've measured for that, I'm just going to trim that off, and then I'm going to put on a little bleb of this is Super Glue Extra Time Power Gel. I'm just going to set my wing end on that and tie down into it, so it'll absorb that little bleb of glue, and that will just set in place. And because we talked about the channel in this hook, it'll make it less likely to pull out because it's harder to compress if you don't have something under it to do so. So next we want to put in some sort of flash, so what I'm going to use is this Mikkeli blue angel hair mix. So again, this is a mixture of light blue, royal blue and purples. So again, you take out half as much really as you want. There's a sort of a modern trend to do very sort of flashy wings on flies. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie that into about the length of the wing, tie across it and fold it back, and then this bit that we folded back we'll just feather out again so that we don't end up with a flat cut end. So our choice now is what the front of the fly, what do you want it to look like. So you can either put on a hackle and then put a wing over the top of it, or you can put on the top wing here and put a hackle in front of that there. Sometimes put a hackle in front of things covers a multitude of sins and can make your fly look better. So I am going to go with the hackle first and then a wing. So for this I'm using a black sort of soft hackle. So this is a natural black, it has sort of a green tinge to it. Actually I got it off one of those, you know, completely black chickens or roosters where everything's black, and it's really nice natural sort of sheen to it. So I've doubled that, and then I'm just going to tie it in by its tip, flip it back, and then wind that hackle on. So this hackle is longer and softer than the one that we used to palmer the body with, and that then allows us to get some shape to it, and also because it's soft and it's over that middle wing, we can allow it to incorporate into the main wing. If it was a much spikier cock type hackle, it might stick up straight, which I suppose in certain ways would help to support the wing, and if you wanted to kick it up more, but it would interfere with the flow. So main wing then, I'm going to use a sort of a piece of Supreme Fox. You could use any sort of a standard TEMPLEDOG type winging material for this. You could use TEMPLEDOG, you could use fin raccoon or something like that there. So if you're going to use Fox, the better quality that you can, the better, because so this bit is really as good as Fox gets to me. Cheaper Fox sometimes is a lot more crinkly, a lot more underfur, and can result in a wing that can tangle a bit more. So this time we want the wing to be slightly longer than the underwing. So we can measure that out for length. So our two options are to tie it on first and then trim it, or to trim it to length and then tie it on. So we've already got it on here. So what I'm going to do is take my super glue, glue an inch of my tying thread, and then wrap over that tie on, and that will seep into the just the tie-in of it and hold all in place. So then we want to trim that off. So either you use sharp bit scissors, or you take a blade, Stanley blade, or a scalpel blade or something like that, and you trim the thing down. So next then what we want to do is get a little bit of peacock for the top of our wing. So I want to get a few fibers of peacock early. What I'm going to do with those is I'm going to just take them and I'm going to run my finger nail along the underside of it, and that puts a curvature into it for me, and that then allows it to stick to the shape of the top of the wing for me. The wing will support it, and then I just tie that in on the top there. If we get fibers that don't want to behave, like this one, then we can just take them out. Trim that off, and then to finish we want to put on a couple of jungle cock feathers, so for cheeks on it. So if we take a couple of jungle cock eyes, one from each side of the cape, match for shape, and as you can see the feather has a slight curve in it, and the other one, see the back of it. So what you do is you use the downward curve to give you that droop to run with the flow of the thing. I want to set that up on the side, and I want to tie in across a portion that has a couple of fibers still attached. Try and tie in on bare stock. What it will want to do is flip on you. Then I strip the other feather and I just use the rotation of my vise just to match up the length and tie that in on this side. So for added security, you can fold the stock back. It's never going to pull out of that. Same on this side. And trim the end. And then our fly is tied. It's just a matter of creating a nice, neat head for it. So what I'm going to do there is I'm going to take my super glue gel again, and I'm just going to run it down maybe 10 centimeters or so, and we just want an even cover in there. We don't want big blebs hanging off it, and then hold our wing and stuff back and just wrap that till we get an even coverage. A lot of people will just, when they're using super glue to finish heads, just wrap it and cut it, but I still prefer to have at least some sort of a half hitch in it to finish it, and then I'll nick it off. So that's our fly tied. All that remains then is that once the super glue is totally dry, what I'll do is I'll give it a coat of a clear varnish, but that is a variation, I suppose, of a Mikkeli blue TEMPLEDOG, but tied. On a mustard double. So thank you for watching until the end of the video. Please take this opportunity to hit the subscribe button down below. Tell your friends about the channel, and if you want to watch some more of my content, then check out some of the links that are appearing in your screens at the minute. As per usual, I hope you enjoyed the video, so until next time, tight lines, and thanks for watching.